Hi, everybody. I guess it's Wednesday again because I get to come and talk to you. I feel like I don't know about you guys, but I feel like my week is a little off because it was a long weekend. And yesterday for me was a little bit crazy, but everything ended up working out. So it was really good. Long story short, my husband forgot. So my husband was here visiting me because he's working in Alberta, the one province next to us. And he was flying home yesterday and he realized that he forgot his wallet with his ID and everything. So we had to we traveled so fast home, got the wallet, raced back to the airport. And the entire time I was like, I don't know how, but he is going to make this flight. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm trusting the universe that it did. And you know what? He got on the flight. He was like 20 minutes late for the flight and he still got on. And when I got the text, I was like, holy Hannah. So I love it. It was absolutely amazing how spirit works and how the energy of the universe works when you're just like, I'm trusting this. I'm trusting that this is going to happen. And it really did. And so it taught me a really big lesson on intentions and manifestation. And I just always love to share those things that I experience with all of you guys, because I figure if you can learn from me, you can learn how to do it as well. That's how I started, right? I learned from others and followed their example. And so, yeah, I'd love to help you with that too. So as we're waiting for a caller to come in, I decided to pull a card for us, and I was shuffling and talking to Dave, our wonderful producer here at A1R Psychic Radio News Radio Network. One of these days, I'm going to say that right with no hiccups. So as I was shuffling the cards, I had to chuckle because it was the Angel of Balance card that came up. And for me right now, this is something that I am constantly working on, finding balance, not just between engaging with clients and with doing radio shows or my webinars and stuff like that, but also, balancing that with reading things that help me grow and help me make my life better versus and then reading things that I really like to enjoy. Today I decided to kind of do a whole bunch of stuff in the morning, and then I relaxed. I had a bath to get ready for the show. And I was like, I should read something like enjoying and just let my mind kind of go. And instead I ended up reading other books, ones that are guiding me and teaching me on my path with energy. I'm loving that I did it, but at the same time, I'm like, I kind of would have liked that break, but that's okay. That's for me to figure out and everything. And I don't know about you guys, if you're working on balance or anything, but another reason why I kind of have to laugh about this card is, so last week after I did our wonderful radio show, I went on my Facebook Live, I went on Facebook and I did a live show, and I think we pulled this card like 3 or 4 times, and it was always a different message for everybody, but it was just so funny. So I'm just ready for any callers that come in. If you want your opportunity to get your own connection with me, definitely call in and they can hook you up. So I see that we have Kim in Newark, New Jersey. Hi, Kim.
How are you?
I am good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm making it. Thank you.
You're making it, that's a good thing too, right? Like sometimes making it is our best, and best is best. That's one of my favorite sayings, best is best. So that's always a good thing. So
I'm not going to complain.
You're not going to complain? Hey, that's a good thing too. When we complain, it kind of pulls our vibration down. So if you can and it's really funny, Kim, I have to laugh. So I don't know if you heard me a little bit before, but I started the show by giving a reading on a card that was Angel of Balance. And as I was shuffling the cards for you, that's exactly the same card that came out, was Angel of Balance. So I'm going to read the card for you. And yeah, isn't that interesting? I love how energy and spirit works, and the synchronicity of things that happen is just amazing. But for you, it's interesting because not only do I hear that this card is important, but I also want to take the top card of the pile that I have, and it also has indecision with it. So so there's how do I want to say this? So right now in your life, I feel like you're being kind of bombarded. You're having to make a whole bunch of decisions. I feel like even all at once, but really you're just not sure where to go with your life at the moment. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so first things first, I want to talk about these decisions, and we'll get to the angel of balance in a moment. But the thing about decisions is, of course, we're human. Of course, we have that ego that's like, well, you have to make the right decision. You have to make the best decision. It's like, well, I want to make that decision, but I don't know what's right. So, what I would tell you is remember that each decision that we make has equal opportunity. Let's say, you've got door A and door B. We don't know what's behind those doors. So let's say you pick door A or choice A, and you find out there's amazing things back there, but some learning things as well. So maybe not everything goes really smooth, but embrace the fact that you had the courage to make the decision and move forward with it. What's interesting as well with indecision is I keep wanting to tell you, trust your own instincts, because I think the fact that you've been talking to people or getting their advice, I think that is I feel like that is making your decision that much harder, because you're trying to make other people happy versus yourself. Would you agree with that?
Kind of.
So do you think that other people's opinions or their advice, even though it's coming from a loving place, do you think it's influencing your decisions on where to go?
No.
Oh no.
No, it's
okay.
not. No, it's not.
Okay.
They just give me an input, but I have the final say. You know?
Oh, for sure. For sure. You have the final say. But sometimes when we allow other people's...
I'll just figure I think their opinion just throws me off, or tries to throw me off. You know what I'm saying? Because it's convenient for them. So that's why I play along. But at the end of the day, I make my own decision. I'm just the opposite. So I know that they're trying to...
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say
I know that they're trying to flip it, to act like they really with me when they really not. So of course I'm listening to them. They trying to drill it into me so I can make the decision that they want. But in the long run, I just wing it and make my own choice. That's why I be debating. Should I just leave it alone or go forward? I doubt myself sometimes.
And you know what? I think that's a human thing, and exactly everything that you just said. That's exactly like I would agree with you 100%. People, even though it's nice to get other people's input, sometimes we always have to make the right decision for ourselves, because we're the one leading our own lives, and they have their own story behind why they've made those decisions or made those choices. So that's why I was asking. Like, I feel like a lot of people are bringing their input into you and stuff like that, but that can at times make things a little bit muddled, a little bit confusing for us. So I love the fact that you're like very separated from going, well, that's your story, but this is mine. But that can lead to second guessing oneself. So as much as you love, as much as we know that those people's decisions or those people's inputs are coming from a place of love and trying to help you, at the same time, it's kind of like, I keep wanting to say, just be like, I appreciate your input, but I really don't need to hear it. I just need to figure this out on my own. I know you're coming from a loving place, but just be like, I'm okay without the input, because otherwise it's just confusing me. That's kind of where I was going with the card, and just being like, it's great to have other people's input, but at the same time, sometimes it's just like it's overbearing, it's too much, which then can lead to that second guessing ourselves. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing about indecision, and I'm the type of person, I totally get it. I've learned to relax a little bit with my decision making, but at the same time, I used to be like, I just want it to be the right choice. I just want it to be the right choice. But when we focus on the outcome that we want, that's the direction. Like, I'm actually just learning about the vibrations that we put out. And sometimes when we go, okay, well, this is the outcome that I want, but I'm afraid that it's going to turn sour, because we focus our energy and attention on what could possibly go wrong, that's actually what we bring into our lives. So instead of focusing on what could go wrong, start focusing on, this is the outcome I want. This is what's going to happen. This is where we're going to move forward. And this is what I totally see myself, at the end game. This is what I want. And the universe has no choice but to respond to that vibration. Does that make sense? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see yourself something that, like, do you find, or sorry, let me rephrase that. Do you see that as a possibility of something that you can do for yourself?
Yeah.
Awesome. Remember, it takes time, Kim. It's not an overnight thing. It's like, we're if you're going to the gym or you're walking a new way to a grocery store or to town, it takes time to know the route. It takes time to figure things out. So it just, we're training our mind just as if we're training an arm muscle when we're working out with weights. So it's just our minds are just a muscle. So you just have to train it to be more on the positive, because I think naturally humans are just kind of more in a fear vibration. So anytime you find yourself focusing on the negative or the scary outcomes that are possible, remind yourself, no, I'm not going to put my energy there. I'm going to bring it into what the positive state is. You have a really good intuition, Kim. I would remind you to trust it. You've got lots of people around you that love you no matter what. So make sure that that's what you put your focus on. And that's part of the angel of balance as well. Remembering that, you've got a good, I keep wanting to say, like, you've gone to the school of hard knocks, basically. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking for some reason. And you've had to learn a lot of things on your own. And that's really good. And that's something to be admired, instead of going, oh, it's been so tough. Be like, okay, well, I've made it thus far. I'm still going to make it. The other thing with Angel of Balance that I want to remind you of is make sure that you do good things for yourself. And what I mean by that is like, not necessarily like talk to yourself in a loving way, but I wanted to tell you, like, buy those things for yourself that you're like, oh, well, is it worth the money? Or, that money could be better elsewhere, or my time could be spent better elsewhere. Do those things for you, because that'll help bring your confidence in yourself and strengthen it, as well as give you a good foundation. And that way your fear of making the wrong decision will actually dissipate as well. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yay. I'm so glad to hear that. The other thing that I want to tell you is, oh, shoot, I just about lost it there. I feel like nighttime for you, it's really important for you to just really wind down so that you get those good sleeps. And also remind yourself that stressing at night is really not going to help you. Like playing things over and over in your mind, that's just not going to help. So just when that happens, just be like, no, right now is me time to just relax. So just take all of those things, all of those worries that you've got going on, and put them aside, and that'll help you sleep better. Okay. And the other thing that'll really help you sleep better. And the other thing I want to tell you, and I know this is hard because we're so addicted to all of our phones and all the electronics and all of that. But I think for you need at least like 5 minutes of just pure quiet and just like a place for you to breathe, because this will help you realize that you're not having to play catch up with your breath when you take those moments to just like take those deep breaths and let everything fall off of you, all of those worries, all of those concerns. That'll help you sleep like so much better. All right. Does that help you and give you some guidance and all of that and a direction of where to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for me? I'd be happy to answer them.
No.
No? All right. Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining me on their A1R Psychic radio station. It was great chatting with you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Before I forget, I do want to tell you one thing. Decisions are only scary because they have an unknown element. But if you look at all the decisions that we don't know the outcome that you make every single day, big decisions won't seem that big. I hope that helps as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, Kim. Take care.
You too.
All
Have
right.
a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye. All right. And I see that we have Shayna. Shayna from Inverness, Florida. Hi, Shayna.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's actually my birthday today.
Happy birthday. I love that. Thank you so much for, calling in and everything. That's great.
Thank you.
What a special treat. What did you do for your birthday?
Actually, I just worked today.
What?
It was just a normal
Nobody should
day.
work on their birthday. Nobody should work on their birthday as far as I'm concerned. I even take my birthday off, except that's a new thing. So I get it. I used to work on my birthday because sometimes it's fun to hanging around your coworkers as you celebrate your birthday.
Right. It is.
Awesome. Oh, good. I love your name as well. They helped me with the pronunciation of it, but I love that. That is so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm just shuffling some cards here for you to get some guidance. Phew, it is. It must be pretty warm still in Florida.
Yes, it is. It's very humid still.
Is it? Yeah. No, that makes sense. Sorry, I just have to step away from my computer. I dropped you had a whole bunch of cards fall out for you. It must be your birthday because I have 4 and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know which one to go with. So we're going to go with all 4. The first thing that pops up is, oh, wow. Actually, I'm stumped. That's too funny. Okay, Shayna, we have right now in your life, I feel like you've hit some really good milestones, some goals that you've had on the table that you really wanted to make happen in the past year. And I feel like you've actually started seeing them come to fruition. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yay! Awesome. That's because we have the victory card. And the victory card is so great to see but you know what's really interesting is as I'm holding this, I keep wanting to tell you, Shayna, you actually need to take a moment and really revel in the fact that you hit them. Maybe not fully the way you were expecting to, but you still hit them. And that's what's really important. And you need to congratulate yourself and celebrate your success. And I feel like that's part of like putting your feet up, enjoying the beach, have a glass of wine, do whatever you need to do to really recognize your success because you're like, well, yeah, it was good and I'm happy that I'm successful, but at the same time, you know, it just was kind of expected. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. Yes, makes sense.
Okay. Okay, make sure you celebrate that because that took effort. It took time. It took dedication. It took a lot for you to get that done. And there were even, like I keep hearing, like there were obstacles. There were things that pushed you down and almost like where you scraped your knee, but you were still like, no, I'm going to get up. I'm still going to go with this. And so make sure you do that because when we do that, what happens is we bring even more vibrations of success and more vibration of love into our lives. And then it like makes the next task that much easier. Okay, so keep doing this. So definitely celebrate that success. That's amazing. And make sure you bring people that are going to celebrate with you and make it a good time. The next card that I have for you is what's called the walking away card. And I love this, but I actually think that this is kind of like already happened for you. I kind of want to flip it over my shoulder. And it's like you've been told like, so what I would say is that you had a very limiting belief where you were like, I'm not going to be able to get this done, or I won't be successful at this. And it's very much like I keep wanting to talk about self-limiting beliefs that you've actually recognized are not serving any purpose other than to keep you down. And I feel like even with people, you've become more selective of who you want to hang around with and who you bring into your life. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. Keep doing that. Some people might get offended. Some people might be like, well, what? I'm not good enough for you. And it's like, no, it's not that. It's just we don't vibe well. And I have, this is where I want to keep myself and that's okay. You're a good person. I'm a good person. And I just choose not to have those type of people. And when we make that subconscious choice and then it becomes a conscious choice, we end up bringing even more people around us that support us, that know, like I keep wanting to be like that become our cheerleaders. And I keep wanting to be like, yeah, Shayna, you got this. Like you're revving up. And those are the amazing people that you've got around you now. So I think that's really great. And you're still on the right track. And the other reason why I know you're on the right track is because we now also have the action card. And I don't know if you can see the video of this, but the action card has 2 horses on it. And we think of horses, they are incredibly graceful, beautiful, gentle animals, but they can also be very intimidating, very scary, and kind of dangerous.
Yes, very true. Mm-hmm.
But for you, I'm like, I just think you have You have an innate ability within yourself. I keep wanting to call you Powerhouse Shayna. That's literally what I want to call you. And it's not that you're intimidating, but I think, like, I want to tell you, stop holding back. Don't play small, go big, start believing in yourself even more, because that's going to take you even bigger places. You've met some goals this year, which was fantastic. Now make those big goals even bigger. And this has got to be your mantra. I'm learning how to do this myself. It's like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I just trust that my dreams and goals are worth it, and they're going to come into fulfillment. Does that all make sense so far?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Okay. And the other, like, I keep hearing the word entrepreneur for you, Shayna. Are you an entrepreneur, or would you like to be an entrepreneur?
I've actually been debating on that a little bit.
Okay. Go for it. It's an amazing choice. Like, I really am, like, I keep hearing it very strong for you. And that's why I had to bring it up, because I think I've heard it now 4 times. And part of me was like, well, I think that's just because that's what I think she should do. And then it was blaring. So I was like, okay, I have to ask her if she's an entrepreneur or planning on it. I really, like, it's not that you get up today and go, or tomorrow and go and like stop your career or whatever you're doing right now. But I would tell you to start moving in that direction, because and I think that's why I also heard Shayna the powerhouse, because you have an amazing ability to take what you've learned and make it into something incredible. And I keep wanting to tell you, this way you'll make your own hours and you'll be even happier than you ever thought possible.
Yes. And that's why I've been considering it so much lately. So that really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay. So good. So good I'm so glad to hear that. And like, seriously, I'm just like, do it. Well, mind you. And I totally understand the fears behind not necessarily wanting to do it, because and I'll tell you, I can't remember where I posted this or where I shared this, but so growing up, I grew up in a household that had their own business. And I remember dating my now husband, and he was like talking about, we really should be looking at entrepreneurship and doing what we want to do. And I was like, are you kidding? That's insane talk. Like, I'm not doing that. You're not doing that. No way. It's too scary. But you know what? I would not ever go back to the business world ever, because not only do I love what I do as helping people, but the fact that I get to decide when I work, how I work, what I want to do, it's an amazing thing. And what I keep wanting to tell you is this is going to be you forging your own path. There are tons of successful people out there that started with an idea and then they made it really big. And the other thing I want to tell you is that when we are given an idea or a drive or kind of like a little fire or embers within ourselves, they're given to us for a reason. You're meant to follow through on them. You're meant to fan them and make them bigger. And where you're given that desire or that thought to become an entrepreneur, because that's part of your purpose. That's part of that's part of your journey. I'm so excited for you.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I encourage, I think that the world would do much better with more entrepreneurs. So anytime I sense that flicker of entrepreneurship in them, or, I hear it, I'm like, go do it. It's an amazing thing. And, I don't know if you heard the reading from the last caller, but again, it's the same idea. When you focus on what you want, when you put all of your energy into this is my idea of success, that the world has no choice but to respond, or the universe has no choice to respond but to that energy, that vibe that you're putting out there. So don't focus on what could happen or the fearful stuff. Continually just move your direction and move your focus to the positive stuff, and and that's what will come to you. And the other thing, so you actually have one more card that flipped out, and I find it really interesting because it's not actually a card that I would expect to end on or wrap up with, but it's the door to romance. But what I find really interesting is I keep wanting to say it's not necessarily a romantic romance with someone else, I want to tell you, fall in love with yourself, fall in love with your ideas, and fall in love with your passions, because you are your own best friend. You're worth your time and you're worth your energy more than anybody else. And, you know, when you put that vibe out there, when you put that excitement out there, you attract really good entrepreneurship people, or people that are going to encourage you in a really good way. And the other thing too that comes with this card is, I think a lot of energy workers talk about the love vibration and stuff like that. I like to call it a little bit something else, because I usually, you know, I'm also that person that's like, oh, get in the vibration of love, get in the vibration of excitement, but get in the vibration of positivity. I think for you that word and will connect better with you, and will help you like stay in that plane that you want to be in. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Definitely.
Awesome. Perfect. Do you have any questions for me in general or anything? We still have time, so feel free.
If I were to, work for myself, if I put the energy and the time there, I know that I would be successful. But I'm just worried, I get worried, and I always feel held back at the same time. But I think that's just my fear.
100%. And that is why I said, you know, when you focus on the fear part, that is what you're going to attract to yourself. So instead, this is what I suggest you do. Focus on your goal. Be like, and let's talk about money for a sec. Be like, I am going to make $1,000 this month extra, or whatever your number is. Simply put your focus in that and be like, this is what I'm going to attract. I don't know how it's going to show up, but I know it's going to show up, because that's how I believe it's going to happen. The universe knows that I need this amount, or I need this to happen for this to be successful. The universe gave me the desire and the drive. Now it's got to fulfill. But you got to keep focusing on your end game. That, you know, when football players are like, focus on the goal, that's what you need to focus on. Visualize it, see it, and then you're good for it. So I know it takes a leap of faith, but focus that energy on the positivity rather than the fear side of it, and you're good to go. I'm really excited for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome. That made my day.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited. Yeah. And honestly, thank you so much for calling in. It was great. So thank you so much, Shayna. And I think that's pretty much my show for this week. So love and light to you. And thanks again for coming in.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thanks to you too. Bye, everybody. Thank you. And I will see you next Wednesday.